Welcome to the Non-Negotiable Living Podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
All right, everybody. Today we are going to dive into a concept that can transform not only your fitness journey, but every aspect of your life. And we're talking about the principle of being impeccable with your word. And it's a core idea from the book, The 4 Agreements, if any of you have ever read it. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. But if you can create a non-negotiable habit about being impeccable with your word, I can almost guarantee that you will change the trajectory of your life. So let's start by unpacking the idea of being impeccable with your word. This is the first and most important of the 4 agreements in the book. And your word is your power of creation. And that power can be used in more than one direction. One direction is where you use your word to create a beautiful story and narrative for your life. And the other direction is the misuse of our word, where our word causes destruction. It can create a personal hell in our lives. And I know that may sound incredibly intense and over the top, but just hear me out. Being impeccable with your word involves being honest with yourself and others. It's about speaking the truth in all that you do and letting the things that you say you're going to do. It's also about positive self-talk. So avoiding using your words to demean yourself or others, and instead using your words to uplift and empower yourself and others. It's also about the consistency between your words and your actions. So ensuring that your actions align with your spoken commitments and that we're keeping those commitments to ourselves and to others in our lives. Now, in the realm of health and fitness, this principle is crucial. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not capable of achieving your goals or that your goals are out of reach, then you're going to self-sabotage your own progress. Now, on the other hand, if you commit to positive affirmations and consistent actions that align with your commitments, then you basically pave the way for success. So what I would like to do is backtrack a bit and share a little bit about my personal story to help illustrate the impact of being impeccable with your word. I don't know how many of you know this about me, but I grew up in a household with 2 very different examples of reliability. So both of my parents were drug addicts and alcoholics. My dad got sober when I was 8, and my mom was always questionably sober because she abused prescription pills and narcotics. So in my household, I had 2 polar opposites when it came to being impeccable with your word. On one hand, my dad was my rock. He always told me the truth. I could count on him to do anything that he said without fail. My mom, on the other hand, was a chronic liar. She liked to tell tall tales. She liked to lie. And she would lie about things that didn't even make sense to lie about or didn't even matter. Now, if you've ever spent time around somebody who's a chronic liar, then you'll learn that at some point, the liar begins to believe their lies. And they've approached their life with such conviction about the misinformation that they share that they truly begin to believe their lies, and then their lines of reality begin to blur. So they don't think they're lying. They've told the tale long enough that they truly believe it, which makes it very hard to be on the other side when you know the thing is not true. So on the other hand, my dad never broke his promises. After he got sober, if he said he would do something, then he did it. If he told me he would take me somewhere, it would happen. If he told me he would participate in something with me, it was 100% guarantee that that was going to come to fruition. And I remember there was a period of time where my parents weren't living together. I was between 5 and 7, and both my parents were smokers at the time. And one year my dad asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I told him that I wanted him to stop smoking. Now, the next time I saw him after my birthday, he still had his cigarettes, and I said, "Hey, you told me you were going to stop smoking." And he said, "You're right." He immediately grabbed his cigarettes, grabbed his lighter, threw them out, never smoked again. And so that's the extent that my dad would stick to his commitments. Now, my mom probably told me 1,000 times that she would quit smoking. It got to the point that I wouldn't even ask because I knew she wouldn't do it, and if she did, it wouldn't be forever. So I stopped getting my hopes up. Now, my mom was a great mom in a lot of ways, but she wasn't reliable for a lot of years of my life. So my mom had a tendency to say one thing and do another, and her promises often went unfulfilled. And this inconsistency taught me the painful reality of having unreliable commitments and not being able to count on somebody. Now, her frequent unkept promises, even in small matters, created a sense of disappointment and distrust between us. And it was a stark contrast to my father's reliability that shaped my understanding of the importance of being true to one's word. And this really changed me as a person as I grew. I think most people in my life would tell you that if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, there is pretty much like a 99.9% chance it's going to happen. And, I don't say 100 because I'm human. Things happen. Obviously, we all drop the ball sometimes. But this way of growing up in this inconsistency created such a strong feeling and need for keeping my word because I'd been let down so much that it's made me incredibly full of grit and powerful in the sense that if I say I'm going to do something, I follow through and I begin immediately. It's also thwarted my desire to procrastinate. I don't want to put anything off. If I say I'm going to do it, I want to get it done that second. Now, I'm sure you're all over here thinking, Ashley, what does this have to do with health and fitness? In reality, it has everything to do with health and fitness. So let me explain. First, it comes down to belief in yourself. When you commit to your health goals and follow through, you're building your self-confidence. And this confidence doesn't just help you reach your goals, but it permeates in every other aspect of your life. As you start seeing positive changes in your body and your health and how you feel, you develop a belief in your ability to achieve, just in general, which fuels further success, not only in health, but in your career, your relationships, your future. Now, that increase in confidence also comes an increase in energy. As you start losing weight, feeling healthier, and fitting into clothes you love, your self-esteem rises. And this increased confidence and health isn't just about looking good. It enhances how you feel about yourself. It enhances your relationships. You become more open to intimacy and connection with your spouse, which positively impacts your relationships. But it also increases your confidence, and it's something that your children see. They see you as a confident parent. And as a parent, I'm sure you all agree that we want our kids to grow up confident, loving themselves, sure of themselves, and striving for greatness. But if we are not exemplifying those habits and exemplifying those feelings and those thoughts, then how are our kids supposed to replicate that? They look to us to know what to do. So if you're telling them to be confident and love their bodies, but you aren't doing that, then you're creating a disconnect between your actions and your words. The next thing is trust and reliability. When you consistently follow through on your health commitments, you become more reliable in your personal and professional life. Your consistency in maintaining your health goals builds trust with others. People notice when your actions align with your words, and this consistency enhances your reputation and your relationships. So committing to working out 5 days a week is a trust thing. You have the choice every day to do it or not to do it, and it's as easy to do as not to do, in my opinion. And the first person that's going to reap the negative effects if you don't do it is yourself. And the first person that's going to reap the positive effects if you do it is also yourself. So if you're constantly letting yourself down, this impacts your mood, your self-confidence, but also your body. So as a coach, it's my job to help guide people. And on my first call with every client, I tell them outright, I can give you the best program in the world and guarantee your results. But if you don't show up and do the work, you're not going to get the results. You're not going to change your life. But on the other hand, if you show up and do the work, you're going to change your life, and I can guarantee that. The discipline and commitment you develop in your health journey extends to other areas of your life. You become more organized, more dependable, more effective in your career and personal relationships. This holistic improvement can lead to more fulfilling and balanced life overall, not just around health and fitness. So let's talk about some practical tips for being impeccable with your word as it relates to fitness. So the first thing is to set realistic goals. We need to start with goals that are achievable and build upon them gradually. Instead of aiming for drastic changes overnight, we need to set small, manageable targets. And this approach helps you stay motivated. It reduces your risk of burnout. I help my clients set SMART goals towards their progress. So their goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. If we can't measure our progress against what we're doing, and track our consistency, then we have no metrics to say whether or not we are succeeding or failing. We have to track progress, whether it's using journals or apps or other tools to monitor your goals and progress. Keeping track is what helps us stay accountable and provides us a sense of accomplishment. As you see your efforts paying off, using journals, apps, or other tools to monitor your goals and progress is imperative. So some of the key metrics that I track with my clients to ensure success include weekly weigh-ins, progress photos, step tracking, macro tracking, habit tracking, weekly accountability reports. So there's so many things that you can use. But if you say, I want to work out more, that's great. But it's like more compared to what? Like what is your measure of success? But if you say, I'm going to work out for 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, then that's measurable. You can track whether or not you succeeded or failed at that. So we have to set specific goals and we have to track them. The next part is practicing self-affirmations. So we need to replace the negative self-talk in our heads with positive affirmations. So instead of focusing on what you can't do, we need to emphasize what we're capable of achieving and what we're capable of doing. For instance, you may tell yourself, I'm not making progress every day. Instead, you should say, every day I show up and work out, I am moving closer to my goals. You might say, I'm not making progress today. But instead, if we could shift the mindset to getting a walk today is more progress than I made yesterday. Or you may say, I didn't quite hit my protein goal today. But instead, if you say, I got closer to my protein goal today than I was last week, then that's progress. So we have to affirm what we're doing right rather than belittling ourselves and tearing ourselves for what we're doing wrong. So you have to say, I'm making progress daily, rather than saying, I'm never going to reach my goals. You have to acknowledge that the actions daily are moving you closer to the goal. And I cannot stress enough the impact of using your words to reinforce your ability to succeed. So when I have clients struggling with mindset, I often encourage them to write an affirmation around their struggles and put it in their bathroom on the mirror, so they'll at least see it twice a day when they brush their teeth. So some of the affirmations that I've helped my clients with include putting a Post-it note on their mirror that affirms their self-worth and their daily goals and what that may look like. So their Post-it note on their mirror may say something like, I'm grateful for another day. I'm going to show up and give my all, do what needs to be done to achieve my goals because I deserve to be happy and healthy. If a mom is struggling with mom guilt, the affirmation may be, taking care of myself is taking care of my kids, and the time I spend at the gym exercising is giving back to my children. It's teaching them that health is important and it's allowing me to be a better mother. Or I'm changing my life daily and it's not selfish to prioritize myself and fill my cup first. Taking care of myself is taking care of my family. Another one around weight that I've had people do is put a sticky note over the display on their scale. And they may say something like, I'm thankful to be losing the weight or releasing the fat and getting to my goal because of the healthy choices I'm making daily. One thing that I find is really common is people will get stuck on a goal weight and they'll say, I want to weigh 150 pounds. Well, they'll get to that 150 pounds and then they can't break below it because for so long they've just been after that number that they need to create a new affirmation. They need to create a new goal. And until they do that, they stay stuck. Or people will get on the scale every morning and expect it not to go down. And they'll tell themselves, there's no way the scale's going to drop. Well, if you're constantly thinking that kind of negative thought, of course the scale's not going to drop. So we have to change our mindset. So for someone who's after a financial goal, I may have them do a money mindset affirmation that says, I'm grateful to be earning $10,000 a month in my bank account, and in return, I'm helping people improve their lives. If it's around parenthood, it could be, I'm thankful for my children, and I will approach my day with love, kindness, and patience because they deserve the best version of me. So as you can see, this practice could be applied in every aspect of your life, but you have to remind yourself daily, and there's power in writing and speaking your affirmations out loud. The next thing is we need to celebrate small wins. We need to recognize and celebrate our achievements no matter how minor they may seem. So celebrating the small victories reinforces positive behavior and keeps you motivated. So we have to stop thinking about the big number on the scale. We need to celebrate that today you did your workout. Celebrate that today you hit your macros. Celebrate that you're getting stronger, that you're gaining confidence, that you're more comfortable in the gym. These are all wins. And the big wins will come with consistency over time. But if you can't learn to celebrate the small wins along the way, you'll never get to the big goals at the end. We need to communicate honestly. We need to be transparent with ourselves about our goals and our challenges with others. So open communication fosters support and understanding from those around us. So the people around you should want you to win. And if they don't, you might need some new people. But seriously, there's so much power in telling your coworker at the office who normally gets coffee for you daily, like, hey, I'm working on my health and hitting my macros is important. Can you stop bringing me sugary coffees in the morning? Or can I pick something that better supports my goals? And in the beginning, people may not understand this. They'll say, but you love that. You'll be like, yeah, I do love that, but I love myself more, and getting to a healthy weight is more important to me than that coffee. Or a friend who wants to go out to dinner and drinks with you. If you can communicate to them that you'd like to pick a place that has a healthy menu or an option that better fits what you're trying to accomplish, they should be understanding of that. They should want you to succeed. Or if you have a friend who wants to meet you at a bar for some drinks, maybe instead you ask them, hey, can we just grab a cup of coffee in the morning and go on a walk instead? Because that's going to better support my goals. Would you be up for that? But here's the thing, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you have to be able to communicate with people and tell them what you need, and you can't expect them to just know on their own. That's not their job. They're not mind readers. So we have to be open and communicative about what we need from people. And you have to stand up for what you need and want, because nobody else is going to do it for you. So if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if somebody that is supposed to be loving and kind and supportive of you pushes back, then maybe you don't need to be spending as much time with that person. So we have to create a plan and stick to it. Developing a structured plan for our health and fitness journey and committing to it is imperative. So this plan should include specific actions, deadlines, and a system for tracking progress. So this is where the power of having a good coach comes in. So for my clients, I map out their path to success. I create their workout plans for them, put them on the calendar for them. I set their macros for them and we adjust as we go. I help them create actionable steps towards their goals. I give them the education needed to achieve their goals and maintain them forever. If you need that kind of help and support, please look at the bottom of this podcast. And in the notes, you'll see a link that you could schedule a free strategy call with me if you're ready to change your life. But if you aren't ready to take that plunge, that's okay too. So don't go into your health goals blindly. You should have a workout routine mapped out that you stick to for at least 4 to 8 weeks. You should start tracking your nutrition. You should have a daily step goal. You should have SMART goals and metrics to measure your success. We also need to seek support. So surround yourself with people who support your goals, hold you accountable, whether it's a coach, a workout buddy, a supportive community. Having encouragement can make a significant difference in your success. Now let's talk about the long-term impact of being impeccable with your word. When you're impeccable with your word, it's not just about the immediate results. It's about creating a lasting positive impact on your life. And when you consistently align your actions with your words, you build a foundation of trust and integrity with yourself for your goals. And this approach can lead to improved health, stronger relationships, greater success in all areas of your life. Let's look at some of the broader examples of how being impeccable with your word can affect various aspects of your life. When it comes to career success, professionals who are reliable and consistent in their work often advance faster in their careers. Their colleagues and employers trust them to deliver on their promises and meet deadlines, leading to increased opportunities and recognition. When it comes to personal relationships, this is huge. Trust and reliability are fundamental to strong relationships. So being true to your word helps you build and maintain trust with friends and family and partners. And it shows that you value and respect your commitments to them and yourself. This is also incredibly important as a parent. Your kids are going to follow suit with what you do. So if you're setting the example of mistrust, constantly letting them down, these are habits they're going to learn inadvertently. So we have got to do better for our kids. If we tell our kids we're going to do something, we need to keep our commitments and our words. Also, as far as mental well-being, adhering to your own promises and maintaining integrity with your word reduces your internal conflict and stress. It fosters a sense of self-respect and reduces feelings of guilt or regret that's associated with broken promises. So if you see yourself winning, you're going to continue to want to win. Success breeds more success, or at least the desire for it. So incorporating this principle of being impeccable with your word into your health and fitness journey can lead to profound and lasting changes in your entire life. It's about creating a mindset and behavior pattern that supports your goals and fosters personal growth. And by aligning your actions with your words, you set a standard of reliability and integrity that benefits every facet of your life. So thanks for tuning in to Non-Negotiable Living today. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, share it with your friends who might benefit from this perspective. Until next time, stay committed to your goals, be impeccable with your word. Remember that every small step takes you towards integrity and consistency, and it's making a big difference in your life. So keep striving for living those non-negotiable habits, and I'll see you on the next episode.